Well, I think the big question we all have was because I bought the album. I loved the album, the vocals, the types of songs on them. As I said, it helps when you have four big, even though you're featured with Keith on a number of tracks, it just was just really and the 90s we had such a good mix of great groups and great songs and great music.
Yeah, it had some substance, right? It had
Yeah,
substance.
but my question then became: you had an album that went more than gold. What happened? I was expecting the next album because the
Well,
'90s
we
was.
were working on the next album, but then they tried to do some crazy stuff, and so they broke up the group. And
What,
then they tried to
what are
replace
these?
two of us.
Who's? What do you mean they tried? Who's? The
Well, obviously Keith.
here?
Obviously
Okay.
Keith then, yeah. They tried to replace me and Lavonn because I was a troublemaker because I wanted what was right for Cut Close, and they get rid of the people who's got the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. Those are my girls. You know what I mean? I brought everybody to the situation. I brought everybody to Keith. I got us the deal and to try and dismantle it in the way that was very disrespectful, because people want to have their own voice or to try and stop from being abused in a certain kind of way when it comes down to your career. You know what I mean? So it wasn't really nothing where it's like, oh, they're a problem. I was like, no, we just want what was for real. Like, yo, are you kidding? You signed us, but we can't even make a life. I mean, you can't complain about it. Otherwise, we'll get rid of them. What? So one time I was on my way home and then I heard that they were looking for new members of Cut Close on the radio.
What?
And I was like, what the heck? Yo, I was heated. So they tried to replace us, and and Athena was in on it to some extent. She was there with the other girls, and I'm like, how the hell? Like, you supposed to be our, you know what I'm saying? So, that was a dark moment, and it lasted for about 10 years. Just disconnecting. You know what I mean? It never transpired, and then Athena went solo, and her album never came out.
On Kier.
No, she went solo on Priority, I think it was.
Okay.
Like a rap label. It was like a rap label or something like that.
Yeah,
she
yeah,
came out with one song.
Yeah.
And it was called Hey, Hey, Hey. And it never went anywhere. So they dropped her.
So yes, I think, and I think, because I've heard you on other interviews talk about why, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but why Athena was the main lead singer, and you spoke about the fact that sort of Keith sort of warmed to her vocals and probably put her lead on most of things, but then as a group, it wasn't a big deal for you guys to some extent. But did it ever cause conflict? Because some of us look at, say, SWV and wonder, well, Coco's singing all the leads. That's in a way everyone goes in as a singer, but when you have one predominant singer, it then almost looks as
complicates things.
Yeah, well, yeah, because if the main singer
makes someone feel less than.
Yeah, well, I think it becomes one spotlight. Big Bob has said numerous numbers of times that he didn't like the fact that they dressed him differently than his best friends, and then they pushed him as the main guy, and the others were like the pips. But other people don't seem to mind when they are pushed to the forefront and given the spotlight. But I then wonder what it's like for yourself and Lavonn. How did you guys feel when Athena was singing everything and becoming, even on say Nobody and stuff, being the one featured, keeps featuring her? Does it then think, wow, goodness, they're turning us away deliberately? Or
well, I mean, of course, when you are dealing with a group, they always have to find a lead singer. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to find the sound of the group. It's important to do so, because if you're all over the place, it kind of, it can sound a little jumbled or mumbled or whatever. You know what I mean? So they always pick out someone that is the preface of the sound of the group, even if there's some other people that sing more than the other people. You know what I mean? And so at that point in time, I was in the group because I wanted the sisterhood, the connection. I was not a lead singer,
okay,
per se, So I understood the gift that Athena had, because I became her number one fan when I heard her first. When I heard her first, and I said, I want her. Do you think for 1 minute that I would care if I was leading a song when I loved her voice better than mine? You know what I'm saying? So I knew that she had the talent, she had the experience. I was very young. I was very green when it came down to me even being in the business, singing wise, or even singing on tape, you know what I mean, and hear my voice back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was very new in it, so I didn't have the know-how, you know. I didn't have, you know, the chance to be like lead a song and me sound good. I was more like, I hear too much of me. Can you turn it down, please? You know? Yeah. And so that's how I was, you know what I'm saying? But people, when they do choose one person to be a lead singer, and the way that they make the situation, it kind of makes you feel like you're less than a little bit. It does do that I mean, everybody feels that way. If you were to put someone in a position where somebody did the same thing, but they picked this person more than you, at some point in time, you're gonna start feeling some type of way. You know what I mean? So it does create animosity and dissension amongst the members because people don't feel important enough. You know, people feel like they're not as important as the other person, and that makes nobody feel good. You know what I'm saying? Go try to have 3 wives and treat all of them, you know, one. Come on, man. That's not going to happen, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You talk about, about to get the Battle of doggone Armageddon, bomb at Hiroshima. You about to get Phoenix, doggone, from the X-Men. So, I mean, and so Lavonn, she came in because she was already a solo artist. So she felt a little bit more, you know, nerved by it. Like, man, come on now. I used to be the lead singer in my band. You know what I'm saying? How dare you not, you know, like my voice or allow me to be able to, you know, exercise my talent, because she can sing. You know, Lavonn, you know, she's a beast too. And so, but Keith, you know, people do find that one person, and I understood that, you know. And so sometimes when you put a group together and you use one person, it'd be one thing if you let them lead or whatever, but it's another thing if you let them lead and try to do backgrounds. You know what I mean? And they tried to do that one time on the second album when Missy Elliott, we worked with Missy for the second album, because we did start the second album. And so we went to, you know, New York to record, you know, and we went to the studio, and then they just used Athena, period, and nobody else. And everybody else went up, you know, me and Lavonn went upstairs to another room, and she did the backgrounds and the verse. And I'm like, what the hell are we here? What the hell? That was different.
Wow.
And it's like, what was the point in having one person do everything? But it never came out, you know, but still it was weird how they did that without allowing other people to partake in it, you know what I mean, or even try to partake. So I think that sometimes the business is almost fashion to test your nuts in all kinds of ways. You know what I mean? And so you kind of like, you know, feel a little, and Athena, she felt weird too. She's like, man, you know, why my girls can't come and sing, you know what I'm saying? It puts her in an awkward position.
What excuse do they give? Because I spoke to Profile about that, and they did that to LJ. He was singing background and everything, and they were flying him. Dumb. That's and he stupid. Didn't like it, but that's what they were pushing. But what was the reasons for that?
I mean, we never understood the reason. They never told us or gave us a reason. I think it was just because they wanted to hurry up and do the song. You know what I'm saying? I think they wanted to hurry up and get the song finished. And we'll just use this person and put everyone. That's how they used to do a lot of stuff back in the day too. You know, sometimes when people teach you of how things go, when it's like, all right, it's the whole group, but this person, you know, so let's just use this person and we'll just put the whole name on it. You know what I'm saying? 5 heartbeats. You know, a lot of stuff started happening like that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, you put a different cover on it, act like it's somebody that is not singing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of trickery ways that they did stuff just because they wanted to hurry up and do stuff, or they felt like, you know, to them something sounded better or whatever, you know.
But does that affect the money though? Does it affect how much you get paid or anything? No. So it doesn't make a difference. It just okay. So it's okay.
Someone did ask me that question the other day. They was like, you know, with SWV, Coco get paid more than
Lee.
I said, hell to the motherfucking no. Sorry about my language, but hell no, not over here, Pam. That's an absolute no, sir.
Okay.
You know, how could anybody know, bro? You really gonna have a doggone scene like the 5 heartbeats when that joker took a little sleep and ripped that joker down here and start fighting and stuff and tussling on stage, man. Man, that's not going. No, bro.
So then what happened with this? You did the track with Missy. Then what happened? I would have thought Electra would have.
We didn't do any other songs after that.
Did they not release it?
No, we never released the second album, so nothing came out.
What was the reason they told you? Like, okay, we've spent time.
I told you they tried to replace us.
After the recording of that track?
Yes, that was obviously after the recording of the first track that we did for the second album. The second album never transpired. They tried to replace us, never worked. You know what I'm saying? And that was that. When it came down, it was the last time we recorded anything underneath Elektra, because we were supposed to work with Neptunes next. You know what I mean?
You're kidding me.
And we never worked with Pharrell them. And so it was just it really jacked up because they really wanted to make it some bullshit. Like they even suggested Athena Cage featuring Kut Klose. I was like, man, y'all done lost y'all damn mind when that came down. Why would y'all even try to break up the situation with it and make it stupid as hell like that?
So after the whole situation with Keith and you guys came out from that, did you and then Athena went and got to a solo deal? What did you end up doing? How did you?
I mean, I had to figure out life, because this part was, we were still hemmed up in the contract. What could we do?
Oh, you're still tied up to another 6
yes.
albums.
We didn't get out of our contract until like 1999 or something like that, 2000.
So it means that you can't record or release anything. We can't do anything. Is that how?
No, we can't do nothing.
And you can't force yourself. You can't. How can they just? I don't understand.
Because you put your name on the dotted line, and that was individually and collectively.
Wow.
So when they say individually and collectively, that means you without the group too.
Wow.
So we couldn't go get no solo deal. We had to wait until, actually it was around 2003. 2003 is when we got out of our deal. We couldn't go nowhere else and do anything else. Keith would get a part, or we'd have to get permission. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It was just crazy. And it just, and so we had to sit our behinds down until we was able to get out of the deal, period. And that held us up for a little while, and then while you were laying dormant, imagine what you do if you don't put no lotion on your skin. That joker gonna be looking like tree bark. You know what I'm saying? So what you think happened to our careers?
So then what did you end up doing for those?
You live, you get a job. You freaking work. What you think? I got gold chips on somebody's tree in the back growing or something? You know what I'm saying? And publishing wise, stuff was in court. So I had to figure it out. Wow. And so I had to get it in, which was very hard to do with people knowing who you are and looking at you like you're a failure. You know what I mean? That sucks. It does something to you mentally and spiritually to be out in society because they're not nice to you.
Yeah.
They don't make you feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So people who are like me that have been in the limelight and you're supposed to be, on top of the world and you're not, you kind of like hide away.
Yeah. And
you try not to be seen anymore. You know what I mean? That's when you get those hats and you wear it all the way down there like this hat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This is